What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be showing you the Lord Raptor deck that I played for the Retro Round 4 Campus Championship. What's retro? Great question. Jaskos decided that they want to make a format that is the original Red Horizon set all the way forward of legality of play, with a small ban list, which we'll leave down in the description down below. And they want to do an online tournament via Tabletop Simulator. And so we here at TCG want to arm you, the good people, with the decks that you could be playing or could be playing against. And so we decided to host a bunch of in-house tournaments. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the profile. All right, so if you haven't seen one of my deck profiles before, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be telling you more about how the deck wants to operate, how it wants to work, as opposed to just reading off the cards inside of it. So what does Lord Raptor want to do? Lord Raptor is a very unique character where he gets a lot of his value off of playing what are called flash attacks. And flash attacks have this really awesome text on them, a keyword that says they do not have an enhanced step. So everything happens on play. You respond with a bunch of cool abilities on play. And the reason this is so good is because I'm sure your opponent doesn't have a ton of responsibilities defensively. So Lord Raptor kind of gets to just do whatever he wants. He's a little foundation control. He's a little stats bonus. And most importantly, because of the retro format, he's got a lot of really good defensive, disruptive tools to let him kind of just play whatever kind of game that he wants. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the profile. So the first attack that I want to talk about is Hurricane of Death, our big monstrous attack. Some people call this card unfair because of the fact that it's a flash attack and we're playing Lord Raptor. All of our attacks are flash attacks. They all have Breaker 2, so I won't keep bringing that up. But the fact that this is a 0 mid block with Breaker 2 is insane. After you play this attack, you destroy one of my opponent's foundations. Lord Raptor destroys a foundation. And so with Hurricane of Death, if I can get these off multiple times, I'm just destroying foundations over and over and over again, decimating my opponent's staging area, and getting a ton of damage or speed or damage because of Lord Raptors every single turn. What a crazy, monstrous bomb of a card. I don't think you need 4 of it just because of how difficulty cost it is early game, but late game with it, Desperation 5, you can just spam them out pretty much however you want. Up next, we're playing Force Stinging Skull, a really meaty attack. This card just says that if it hits, it deals more damage. If it's blocked, they commit an extra foundation. It also has flash, solid low block, and it's a low attack zone. We are really overflowing them with the low zone inside of this deck. Up next, we're breaking that rule instantly with the only non-low attack in the deck. We're playing 4 Leg Shredder. This is one of the bread and butter cards inside of our deck. It says response after you play it, your opponent commits a foundation, and so in the same response phase, you can then respond with Lord Raptor and blow that foundation up. So playing a Leg Shredder says that you destroy one of the foundations, and even better, after it is removed from the game, you ready a foundation. So, and it doesn't say that you haven't ready this turn. Absolutely nutty. So you have it inside of your discard pile. You respond to Lord Raptor after I've played an attack. You remove it from the game and then have one of your committed foundations and you just ready it back up all willy-nilly, however you want. Really, really strong stuff. Arguably the best attack that he has. Onto the non-Lord Raptor stuff, we've got 4 Bear's Bite. It's a 3-diff, low zone, 0 mid block. I'll bring up that breaker one more time, even though I said I wouldn't. And this is your next attack, it's extra stats. And so your next attack is going to get damage. If you do play it, it's going to get speed or damage off of Lord Raptor. It might be the thing. Just chaining 3 Bear Bites might just kill people, just because of how much damage it is and the overloading the low zone. And then my last attack is my non-committal attack. It's my really good poke. It's 4 Kneecapper. It's a 3/3 high block, 3 low for 4. Because of the fact that it has a static that says after it is blocked, you discard it from the card pool. 9 times out of 10 with Lord Raptor, we're just going to give this thing damage. So it's actually a 3 low for 6 that is just going to try and rock your face off. On to our actions. All right, so Superior Technique. This card is one of the absolute best cards inside of the standard format, or excuse me, inside of the retro format. And the reason, fuck, 3, 2, 1. All right, on to Superior Technique. This card is absolutely crazy inside of the retro format. One of the best cards inside of this in this format for 2 reasons. Number 1, all of our Raptor attacks are all weapon attacks. And so after I play one of these really awesome flash attacks and my opponent doesn't get to do anything about it, I will play Superior Technique, discard that weapon card from my card pool, draw 2 additional resources, and then possibly continue to blow them out. As well as response after my opponent plays an ability on their character, you know, that thing everybody wants to do all the time, I get to take any card from my discard pile and put it up on my hand. Possibly this really awesome 0 mid block with Breaker 2. End your whole turn, or I'm setting up for my next turn to be fantastic. Just a really, really solid card all around. On to the assets, we're playing 1 Swordfish 2. all of our foundations and our assets all have these defensive enhances, but we don't have any offensive enhances for obvious reasons. We're playing a flash deck. We don't get to play in enhances. And so, as I take and I have to survive, so I get to have this really potent kill turn. Just saying enhance, negate one of my opponent's attacks is really, really strong. Up next, we've got one Felicity House. Felicity House is really good on both our turn and our opponent's turn for two reasons. Number one, it says one of our main combos says discard our entire hand as a cost. And so I want to play this really, really awesome card, Healed by a Shaman, and it says discard my hand as a cost. Well, it's in my hand right now, and I want it to be on my board. So I play it as the first card in my card pool. I response, commit, and then build it down into my staging area, which means now I've taken that resource from my hand that was just going to get discarded from a different Healed by a Shaman, and now put it into my staging area. And that can be any foundation in the game. Do I need a little extra damage? Sure, I'll add this foundation. Do I need this really niche defensive piece? I'll make sure that it happens. Or if I decide not to use that ability and I've smacked you with an attack already, it'll go to my momentum. And before I attempt to block, I can commit, reveal, and then block with a really awesome block that has Breaker 2. So it's +1 hand size on my opponent's turn and +1 in my staging area on my turn. Just really well-rounded card. And then our last asset is Double Maze Castle. This card is phenomenal inside of Raptor because, once again, it's a 0-man block with Breaker 2. It says after they play an attack, I make their check harder so that they commit extra foundations, which means I get to blow more things up with Lord Raptor. And then lastly, its enhance is playable by either player, but it's not really because all of my cards have flash, and so I don't have enhances. So after I've smacked you with a couple of attacks, I'll take and I'll keep them as momentum if I've got a Maze Castle out, and then I'm going to put your attack zones to whatever block zones my flash attacks match in my hand, and I'll auto block and Breaker 2 and not take any damage from all of it. Super, super strong card in him. On to our foundations. We'll start off with our aggressive foundations. We've got 4 Mind Trigger. This card just says check a 4, fueling our discard removal ability for a little bit of extra damage, as well as it's a spam. In the same vein, but the opposite stat, we're playing 4 Iron Will, just response commit +2 speed. With Raptor, we'll give it +2 damage. Committing a card for 2/2 inside of any deck is really, really good, especially when my opponent's not allowed to interact with me. We're playing 1 Thrilled to Eat You. Not only does my opponent commit a foundation, but it gives my attack extra stats, as well as it fuels my response once per turn. This card's really, really good all around, but I pretty much never want to see more than one of it inside of a deck. So I think it could be a 1/2 of if you really, really want to see it. And in the same vein, we're playing 1 Spirit the Wolf. Response after my attack, flash attack resolves, my opponent commits 2 foundations. This is really good for trying to break down my opponent's walls once they've hit deadlock. I'm just going to make them commit 2 of their best cards and then hopefully drop a Hurricane of Death in order to blow up both of these cards with Lord Raptor. Up next, onto our flow cards, we've got the main kill card we were talking about, 4 Healed by a Shaman. This card just lets you pick up whatever you want out of your discard pile. Do you want to play a ton of low attacks? Well, a ton of low difficulty low attacks. Well, here's Healed by a Shaman. Do I need to pick up a block because this card says after an attack is played, mine or yours? Oh, then I'll pick up that perfect block zone, block Breaker 2. We're playing double Weapon Master. Like we said at the top, all of Lord Raptor's attacks are weapons, and so after one of my Lord Raptor attacks deals damage, I will flip and discard it from the card pool, and then I can pick it right back up with Healed by a Shaman, depending on how the rest of the turn goes. We're playing 1 Wandering Pirate. This card is insane with Healed by a Shaman, and I'll just pull it out just because of how nutty it is. So I've got Wandering Pirate and Healed by a Shaman. I can response with Healed by a Shaman and pick up an attack. I'll play my attack and at some point commit my Wandering Pirate. That will ready my healed, and then commit healed to pick back up another attack. From there, I'll remove a Leg Shredder to ready a card. I'll ready the Wandering Pirate, and that will ready back up my healed. And then I can use the healed again. And then if at some point I've committed the Wandering Pirate one more time, I can't ready this healed, but I can certainly at the start of my opponent's next turn, ready the Wandering Pirate, and then ready the healed back up. And so these 2 cards combo together so impressively well that you just have to play it as a 1 of at least. On the defense, we're playing 3 Ophidiophobia. Breaker 2 is really good defense. Breaker 2 and saying you deal no damage is really, really good, especially when your character's just inherently weak to throw attacks. We're playing Triple Feels Good to Be Bad. Playable while committed Speed Hate is fantastic, and it also lets you re-ready cards like Heal by a Shaman in order to keep you alive a little longer. Double Dust in the Wind. This card's a little confusing on read, but basically here's what it says. So if I were to respond to Lord Raptor's, my opponent's Lord Raptor's ability, it says response, my attack is +2 speed, so it will increase the speed by +2. I'll respond with Dust in the Wind, and then I'll decrease it by 4. And so it does get the +2 increase, but I'm just decreasing it by twice what the increase was. Really, really solid card. And then lastly, for speed hate, we're playing double A Girl Like Any Other. Enhance speed, enhance commit -3 speed, minimum 0. So the best play option here is I'll -3 speed, put it to 0, and then use Feels Good to Be Bad to give it another -2 just to make sure I can auto block whatever I want. Next defense card we've got is One God of Thunder. Normally I put this card in the flow category, but the reason it's here in defense is because of the fact that I can't use this enhance on my turn. I can only use it on my opponent's turn. And so I have to destroy my committed foundations in order to, or destroy any foundation to ready a committed foundation, like A Girl Like Any Other, like Heal by a Shaman, a ton of really good options when it comes to God of Thunder, but we're only playing it as a one of. On to the best card in the deck, and in my opinion, and possibly one of the best defensive disruptive pieces inside of the retro format is 4 High Seas Adventure. Response remove, after an attack is played, it gets flash. Attacks are nutty. Attacks are really, really strong in every single format ever. And so just saying that, hey, you don't get to play enhances on any of your stuff is really, really good. And I don't feel bad because I'm already not playing enhances on my stuff. So just join the club. You should definitely be looking at this under its symbols, at putting it at a 4 of just to stop my opponent from doing stuff. And then in kind of the same idea, we've got 4 Pool Demogym. This card's really, really good whenever you've got a character that has Breaker on him. On all of your blocks. It says Desperation Response, so once I'm at less than half health, after my opponent plays an attack, put it back in their hand. So let's say they've got 3 cards in their card pool. I've blocked, I've breakered them, and they attempt to play that last card. They've committed way more resources than they should have in order to play this awesome kill card. Well, I'll just respond and put it back in your hand. Well, since of that breaker 2, and you've got extra cards in your card pool, maybe you had to have like +5 on that 4 diff. You checked a 3, you committed 7 foundations, and I put it back in your hand. Well, now you're gonna have to commit even more foundations, just to try and get that kill turn. This might be the difference between you living and you dying, that 1 extra attack. And the extra knowledge of looking at the top card of your deck is also very, very good. Let's you do a little pre-math. Up next, we've got a triple Showtime. This card, a lot of people consider this an aggro card. I consider this a disruption card just because of that amazing response once per turn that removes a flash attack and then cancels one of their non-keyword abilities. My opponent's trying to do some really cool things. I don't think so. I'll get rid of a leg shredder, ready up a cool card, and then you continue about your turn. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Up next, we've got 1 Ninja Outcast. If my opponent tries to play a reversal, I'm going to cancel it. I don't want them playing enhances on my turn, especially if it's during their attack. And then lastly, if they play an ability on a weapon card, cancel it. It's just an all-around catch-all. You do have to have momentum for this, so make sure that you are paying attention to that. Up next, we've got Double Pure of Heart. I think this card's going to be really, really strong inside of both Standard and Retro, and so playing Pure of Heart when I have the room is just a no-brainer. As well as, it says just enhance, first enhance commit, stop on my opponent from playing a thing on their turn. Really, really solid disruptive tools. Oh, they have an asset that's going to just demolish me. Well, now you can't play abilities on that asset for this attack. I can do something about it. And then my last card is for Ageless Wise. Because of how dependent we are on making Heal by a Shaman work, there's this card in the game called the Togoro Brothers that negate and destroy a played ability on on a foundation. And so they attempted to grow Brothers my asset, or my foundation, and then I will just response and flip cancel it and just say, hey, you don't get to do those really awesome things. It's a really, really strong card. You have to be playing it if you are so reliant on a foundation like Lord Raptor is. And so there you have it. There's the Lord Raptor deck profile that I played for this week's Retro Round 4 Campus Championship. If you liked this profile, make sure that you check out all the other matches that we played with him, as well as all the other profiles that we have here out on the channel, especially for the retro ones. If you're interested in joining the Jasco tournament, the retro event, it's going to be on July 18th. There'll be a link for the sign up down in the description down below, as well as join us live every Tuesday on twitch.tv/TCGUniversity. Jump in the chat and hang out with us as we record these matches. And then lastly, if you want to And lastly, if you want to support us, please go to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Subscribe out there, get access to the Discord as well as a bunch of other awesome content, and then talk to me about your really awesome Lord Raptor deck. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on him. So, from all of us here at TCGU, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.